Hi, I'm Nicole, and you're watching Web3TV. And today my guest is Amina Motala. Hi, Amina.
Hi,
Thank you so much for being here.
thank you for having me. It's always great to talk with you.
Yes, I agree. And so you are my first guest on the show who's actually a woman in blockchain. And
Woohoo!
yeah, so it's really, I've talked to all of the guys who've been on about how it's what, 6% of us, right?
Yeah, there aren't very many of us women in the space, so it's an honor to be here, and it's great to be representing as a woman. But I think it'll grow. It'll start to happen.
Yeah, so being someone who is a minority in this space, can you tell us what brought you into cryptocurrency or what got you interested?
Sure. I think it was just early in the days when I used to search the internet, and I'd only been on the internet a few years. It's probably back in 2012 or 13. I can't quite remember the year when I discovered this little documentary about Bitcoin, and it told me all about it. And I just thought, what a fantastic concept. And for some reason, I just really liked it, even though I didn't have a lot of tech savvy knowledge. And I had a voice come through me saying, "This is it." It was one of those kind of moments where I just knew. And I don't know whatever that means, but I tried to follow that along the next few years. And I didn't actually go and buy it, but I really wanted to buy it. Eventually, I did come to a point in 2017 in August. I had sold a property that I had been at for many, many years, and my kids had grown and were starting to leave the nest. And I was starting to look at my life, and I thought I need to finish what I had started with the whole Bitcoin journey, and I need to go and buy some. So I did, and I started to learn the different avenues, how to get through and navigate, and learning to understand the community and the whole everything that Bitcoin is about. It was a bit of a process for me, of course, and yeah, so that's what happened. And then I did eventually buy some in. I think my first purchase was in September of 2017.
So right before that really big pump.
It was right before, and I still didn't even know or understand any of the bearish markets or bullish markets or anything like that. So, and I started reaching out to my community through Meetup and found a Meetup. Started a Meetup with somebody else, and then eventually started my own. From there, toward the end of the year, I had my own Meetup, and was gifted a place at Collab Space to do my Meetup, and I've been doing them ever since there. And it's just been an amazing journey. But I think what happened for me was it was a very slow learning curve because I was learning everything, like from all these high tech terms and like the whole language and finance and trading and stock market and system. And oh my gosh, it was a lot, but I loved it, and I just was drawn to it all. And I'm a bit of a truth seeker, so I think I've spent many years already searching many different perspectives of the world and how we work. So um, yeah, so I just continued and learned a lot along the way.
Yeah,
And
and
meeting great people like yourself. So
yeah, well,
it's
I
been
mean, I
fun.
think in blockchain it's so funny because there's so many things, like there's so much to learn or so much to know. So it's like even if you were considered a, an expert, a blockchain expert, right? Like you've got some PhD in blockchain. There's no way that you could know everything that's going on because there's something like 7,000 cryptocurrencies and
Yeah, it takes a lot of time and to do your research and to learn how to, vet a project or like you say, a currency, and it takes time. Absolutely. So it's been something that I do, and I learn from others. Like through my meetup, I've learned about other people in the space and just what they're doing and hearing, and even the tech. Like a lot of high techies come to my meetup, so I get to ask them a lot of questions and hear the language, and I'm just learning, constantly learning, and I'm still like probably know, a little bit. So if, I'm sure anyone coming into the blockchain space for the first time, I'm sure for them, I must know a lot to them, but um, it's just fun. Like it's fun, like I said, and I'm very passionate about it. I want to see more women in it, absolutely, and it'll happen. But it's kind of like that. I have a son and a daughter, and when my daughter was born, first when my son's older, so when he was born, he gravitated to trucks and cars and all these sorts of toys and things like that. I didn't teach him that. I didn't tell him that he had to. Whatever toys were there or whatever in the world, was out there for him, he gravitated towards those sort of typical, stereotypical items that you would think a boy would want to play with. Well, he did naturally. And my daughter did as well with other things, although she had a bit of a tomboyish, she's a bit of a tomboy boy. But so I think like with this, it's kind of similar because there are a lot of men that they are interested in the high tech and the technical and all of those sorts of things. So there is some element to that draws the male to this industry. I mean, why else are there 99% males in it?
Well, yeah, definitely. And then I also think that some of that has to do with the finance aspects of it, right? Because I think that you can say, well, blockchain isn't a gender thing, and trying to make it a gender thing is, not productive. But really ignoring the fact that the reason why more women aren't drawn to blockchain is very likely because we aren't taught about finance or money or technology, or really the same way that boys are. Those just aren't those same, emphasized things in our early developmental years.
Yeah, that's a really good point because I think you're right. It is geared towards the male industry. I mean, even when they sell cars, it's geared towards male. When they see the car commercials, it's that male driving that you want to have this car. So it is a part of it is a programming. I agree with you, and I think we can find other methodologies that can provide some sort of teaching that is more suited for the female. And we like our finances as much as a male does.
Sure.
So for sure, absolutely. Great point.
Yeah, I mean, and so sometimes I talk to people in this space and I ask them, what do you think that we need to do to get more women interested in cryptocurrency? What is your project doing to target, to advertise to women? And a lot of times they have great answers. And sometimes I get answers like, this isn't a gender thing. I don't target it towards women or men. I target it towards people. And I say, okay, by default then, that's targeted towards men, because your company is employed 90% employed by men, your marketing team is men, you have maybe 3 women on your staff, and like your default is marketed to men. So that is a cop-out answer.
Yeah, but it's also a learning curve for everybody to learn and understand how to communicate this and to start thinking for ourselves. And this is the problem, right? So we're coming from a community where we're programmed. And this I speak very openly about because we are. And when we are and we're trying to come out and think for ourselves, and some of us are not, we're still, replaying what we're told, whether it's for women or for men or whatever. But we do need to start to learn how to think. And nature has its realms. It has a way for men and women. And we need to come back to these roots and find out what they are, so that we can have these kind of conversations and communicate what's best for us in a world that is modern, right? And so giving, we're going to hear all sorts of different things, but we do have to learn how to think and learn who we are again. I do think that. I think we've just been told so many things for so many generations who we are, and we can't trust that. We have to learn from within ourselves and move forward with this whole movement. So we have a chance to create new again with everything. And that's what this is doing, right? It's creating a whole new world. So we all can do that. But I do like to say that men and women have a place together with our own roles of who we are individual, as a male and as a female. And together we are very powerful when we know how to work together and coexist and co-work and all these wonderful things. So, and then we can have a better conversation, thinking conversation, who we are in this. So it's a learning curve.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you're right. We are all very, very programmed. So I have an idea, and this has been
Yes.
like a little new segment on the show that I introduced last week. It's called Crypto Love Line. Okay.
Cool.
So this is my idea for getting more women interested in blockchain. We've got all these guys who are into it, and like, you know, we don't really intermix because that would be problems in our small little community, right? But so there's all these guys, most
Right.
of them are single. So,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
So to get more women interested in blockchain, what we need is for those guys to be going out, going on dates with girls who aren't into crypto and talking about it in a way that is appealing to those women.
Nice. So
I started
yes.
Crypto Love Line, where some of the guys are, you know, doing a Zoom interview, and we're going through what happened on the last time you went out with a woman and you started talking about crypto. And, oh, her eyes immediately glazed over. And so I came up with, I made a PowerPoint. I can show it to you.
Nice.
If
you do that, I have to turn something off here.
Okay.
I like how you're thinking. Do you like my Bitcoin Ben mug?
Oh, hang on. I can't see it because I can only see my PowerPoint. Let me see. Oh, nice. Yes, that's good.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So it actually, the face shows up as you pour the hot water in, and then it turns black when it's cold.
That is so cool. Where did you guys have those made?
I got it at a Bitcoin Ben meetup when I was in Texas. Yeah, so he sells them on his website, bitcoinben.io.
Okay. And so your relationship to Bitcoin Ben, really quick. So tons of our audience is totally unfamiliar with crypto. This is, you know, I mean, these videos get posted on YouTube, but they also air on Phoenix Crypto TV, which is a brand new television station that airs 24-hour crypto content.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bitcoin Ben is a crypto blockchain evangelist. He does a YouTube video, a show daily. He really knows a lot about the space, about the system, about how the system works. And he can explain it really well in layman terms, which is really a great quality he has in reaching people who want to learn and who are curious and compare this system into the new world that we're going into, the digital age. And he just has a great way of helping you to understand it better. And he's got a lot of passion, and he's fun to listen to. And sometimes you may want to turn the speed up a little bit, just because some people like to do that. Well, I'm just going to say that. But love Ben. He's got a big heart, and I do work along with him a lot in the space. And the journey is it's just been fabulous. And with him, have other great relationships in the space as well, where we're building and growing and making partnerships. So a lot of the Litecoin people as well, some great people there. So it's a lot of fun. So check him out. That's Ben.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I would love to have Ben come on the show, or even just film a segment that we could air sometime, because he is just really great at explaining the material, and then also at making it relatable.
Exactly. Very much so. And he's a fun guy. Like, you'll enjoy him. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, definitely. So Bitcoin Ben on Twitter, is that right?
Yep, Bitcoin Ben on Twitter. There's a lot of fakes, but it's Bitcoin Ben or Ben Semshi as well. And again, YouTube, Bitcoin Ben on the YouTube channel. And his website, bitcoinben.io, I believe. There you go, Ben. I just plugged you.
All right. So I'm going to show you my PowerPoint and you can tell me what you think that I should add to it. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why I always have such a hard time getting my screen to share.
Oh, you did it. It's good.
Oops, not that way. This way. Yes. Okay. Crypto love line. How to get a girlfriend when you're a crypto bro.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
So I've published 2 papers on this subject, and I'm currently trying to get one of the crypto media outlets to run a story that I just pitched, that I just made up, called How to Get a Girlfriend When You're a Crypto Bro.
Okay.
But so I've written how I use the price of cryptocurrency to emotionally manipulate my boyfriend, and then how to get your girlfriend interested in cryptocurrency.
I love it. It's good. Oh, of course.
All of
Nice.
this is inspired by Cody. And then, I always talk to the other guys in the space who are always having, not exactly the same problem that Cody is having, but a similar one.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he is.
He's a great guy.
I
love it.
So yeah, demonstrating the problem. And that's Cody's Halloween post.
Nice.
And then, so women in crypto. So it would be much easier to just meet someone from a meetup or at a conference or somebody who's already interested in or working in the space, but that would cause a whole host of new issues because, as we've discussed, it's a really small community and intermingling isn't really something that we do. So, and also with an estimated only 6% of the blockchain space being occupied by women, it's just not that easy to meet someone for a man, and there's tons of competition.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're just going to assume that whoever, the guy in question meets is just like a normal person from a dating app, online, whatever. And I said, then that's actually a great thing because that gives the guys the opportunity to bring more women into crypto, even if they don't end up dating that woman, potentially somebody else would, or it's just good for crypto.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I said, that's actually this is a really good opportunity. So I think the first step is to make the woman the priority. So I know that it's hard to talk about anything but crypto or blockchain. That's my life. But guys really do care about more than that. So I think the first thing that they need to do is look at themselves in the mirror and say, before they leave to meet this woman, to look in the mirror and say, okay, I want to get women interested in cryptocurrency. I want to find a partner, and I'm going to do something different from what I have already been doing to hopefully achieve different results.
Yeah, so you're making the wording positive to create that reality.
Yeah. So guys, they'll do whatever they need to do to get more crypto. I mean, tons of them just sit there and trade, day trading like crazy. They don't sleep for 48 hours, So this isn't different from that. In fact, it's less time consuming. It's just a matter of altering their own approach.
Okay.
So the next step is that the guy needs to listen when she talks and not immediately start telling her, oh, I am into cryptocurrency, I trade Bitcoin, to listen instead what she does for a living, what social causes she cares about or is involved in, what she does in her spare time. And I think that if they'll just take the time to listen and get to know the woman, they'll be able to figure out how to approach blockchain or crypto in a way that will appeal to her, because there are so many applications. I mean, essentially blockchain is going to change the way that people transact and interact with each other. So there's no way that anybody who's living in the world today won't be impacted by blockchain technology in some way or another, and in some way that would be interesting to them. Right?
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Yes. I like it.
And then, so my last slide is just to leave Bitcoin out of it. And I know that it's really hard, you know, specifically for Cody because of his maximalism. But like for, you know, for anybody, because Bitcoin's kind of the, you know, grandfather or father, mother currency, or, you know, of blockchain. And
yeah,
it's hard to leave Bitcoin out of it, but I think that that's important because so many people have negative sentiments about Bitcoin specifically because of things that they've heard in the media or read or, you know, seen on television. Maybe they know somebody who lost a lot of money. And I think that leaving Bitcoin out of it initially is, you know, the thing.
it's hard. It is hard, but it is maybe it would help to the individual to rethink how they're going to approach, because I think any of us in this, we tend to live it and talk about it so much, and we've all experienced to some degree. And I don't know, I wouldn't say all, but it's what I hear often, that, you know, I'm told I don't want to hear about it so much, or, you know, they have a deaf ear to it, or like even my kids, you know, I have to be careful how much I talk about it, as much as they support it and they like it and they're invested in it. But, you know, I can't sit there all night and just jabber on about, you know, Bitcoin and blockchain, because it does get exhausting for others who aren't as passionate. So it is a good thing to learn. I think that helps to rethink how we can approach people. So good one.
So okay, adding that, I think that that's really important. Talk about other things too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk about other subjects. You know, but it also lends to many different conversations, because the idea, what I'm hearing from you, the idea is to attract the opposite sex, or the opposite whatever. I don't know what to say anymore.
And really,
today,
this doesn't just specifically apply to women. It's just kind of the approach that I'm taking, because really a woman could do this talking to other women, a woman could do this talking to men, you know,
friendship, any kind of relationship. Yeah. And it helps to attract the like-mindedness, because if you're looking for a relationship, you do want to have some things to talk about. But having said that, you could be, let's take religion, for instance. You could be a very religious Jewish person and a very, very religious Christian person, but maybe you have many other interests in between, and you just really get along for those other interests. But your religious beliefs can be very different. So there has to be a respect, and you can still have differences as long as there's some commonality with respect to those differences. So yeah, no, it's a great idea. We do, like, I'm a single woman and I'm in the blockchain space, and I see my life is mostly with men, and I have not dated anybody in this space because I've just been working. And so that's interesting. But when I look at my life and think, if I do want to settle down with somebody or get involved with somebody, I would want that common ground with them. And blockchain is a big part of my world. So it would be important.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, so my boyfriend is the reason that I got interested in cryptocurrency, because he just would not talk about, you know, anything else.
Right.
Or it always ended up coming back to, I needed to have like a certain vocabulary. I needed to have a certain understanding just to communicate with him. So that's how I started teaching myself about blockchain, about crypto, until I eventually decided that, you know, I was going to buy it. And now it's part of every conversation that I have with him, you know, like.
That's really cool that you did that, though. I mean, you took an initiative to find out what his interests are by learning it yourself, and only to fall into it yourself. Like that. Wow. That's really cool.
So that's actually what the how I use the price of cryptocurrency to emotionally manipulate my boyfriend piece is about how I had I had a choice. I was like, okay, we've been dating for, you know, 6 months or 9 months or however long it was, and like the discussion of cryptocurrency has, you know, increased radically since when I met him. So either I learn about this, I listen to he talks and then learn about it on my own, or I break up with this guy. you know, and
Good
I
point.
remember,
Yeah.
sitting there and thinking about it and being like, okay, well, you know, I'll start learning about it and see how it goes.
Right.
Yeah.
And see how it goes. And here you are. Isn't that cool?
And
Yeah.
here I am, like, you know, actively part of of cryptocurrency, and he's like, I don't go to conferences. No.
So you can share different aspects of what, you know, the parts that you are involved, both of you are involved in. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
your story should be up there in your, okay, so your deck, your pitch deck, you just pitched me. Is that something that you are going to seriously pursue as some kind of dating app?
No, okay, so so do you know Adrienne Ashley?
Do
Okay, so she
maybe
started,
I just can't think right now who that is.
there's a lot, I mean, it's a small community, but it's a lot of names to know.
Is it a Twitter
No,
person?
so yeah, she is. She has a Twitter, you know, she has a huge social media following, but she
What's her
also,
Twitter handle?
Adrienne Ashley.
It
I'll
is
send,
Adrienne. Oh,
yeah,
I do know. Yes, I do know. Of
okay.
course I do. Yeah.
So she started the dating app. It's a blockchain-based dating app that was called Lolly, and I don't know if
Yes.
it's still going to be called Lolly because Lolly, the rewards app, has picked up so much. I know that she's like rewriting the white paper right now. No, I'm not trying to create my own dating app, but I kind of was thinking of Crypto Loveline just as like a little segment on Web3TV, just to be like
Yep.
cute and funny and just, you know, another way of talking to all the guys, because I feel like I get so many text messages and telegrams, and, you know, at conferences guys are always asking me about girls, and so yeah, I'm like, this should be my thing.
Interesting. Yeah. So you listen to that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do it. I actually, I had a bit of communication with Adrienne a couple years ago. I seen her talk about it, and I was part of another potential. Well, it was a project called Crowdfluence. That's why I'm Crowdfluence One on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
which is a social influencing app. So we had actually approached and talked to her a little bit. So I thought that was a great idea, even like at that time, and that was a couple years ago. So
They definitely
you're on.
some really
You,
cool ideas about, like, so it's also where everybody, like, let's say that a man and woman meet, or two people meet, and they're using Lolly, and then they decide that they're going to have some kind of sexual encounter, so they both go into the app and
mhm,
say, you know, I consent to like this act, and then
mhm.
at the after, just to make sure that nobody is, you know, 6 months later decides that they're gonna, you know, say that something wasn't consensual, both of them go into the app and confirm that everything
Mhm.
went as it was planned, everything was consensual, and then there's no fear of retribution, I guess.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's a
no,
cool idea.
yeah, no, it's good. And all these things they can improve, and they can just, who knows, they can develop into who knows what from here. Everything is there to create. So I like the idea. I've actually thought of that, you know, at some point too, because we want to be in a world where we're, you know, meeting people that are like-mindedness. And I find going to these conferences, this is what a lot of us do, is that we connect and say, oh my gosh, I found my people. I've heard that a lot, or this is my family, or so yeah, I like it.
Well,
I
I
like
for
it.
sure feel like that in crypto. Like, think maybe for, you know, yeah, one of the first times in my life, I don't feel like a total outsider, you know, or like
Right.
I
Yes.
show up to something, and even if I don't know anybody there, and like everybody surrounding me thinks the same, you know, the same way,
Probably.
you know, at
When
least.
you can strike up any kind of blockchain crypto conversation, and you're having a conversation, right? I mean, you know it's going to happen. So very
Yeah.
cool. I
All
like
right.
it. If I can help in any way, let me know.
Okay, yeah, I definitely will. I think that at some point I want to start having more than, like, have a, you know, have a woman call in, and then
Mhm.
also have one of the guys call in and like do a practice date.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
I think that would be fun, and I would love for you to come on sometime with that.
for sure. I'll do it. Why not?
So,
Sure.
what specifically, can you tell them what you do in the space, because you are a blockchain professional, you work in blockchain full time, you don't have an outside of block, or do you?
No, I don't work full time yet, but well, yeah, I guess I do, but not your regular 9 to 5 hours. So,
Right. Yeah, no, we don't keep regular hours.
right. Because I do have another job as well. So that is my 9 to 5 where I work in the school board, but I'm transitioning out of it. This is what I'm building, the relationships and partnerships, and that's where it's headed that way, where I'll be full time out of it. But with the meetup that I talked about earlier that I started, and that's where that led me to meeting many different people and social media, of course. And for me, the whole social media was just to stay connected with the community and not being a part of a particular project. It was my way of connecting with different projects and people, and just being in that whole vibration. So from there, I've made all kinds of relationships. I started a YouTube channel. I did it to be able to have these interactions with individuals. I tried trading. I learned how to trade, just to learn and understand what others are talking about, especially when they come to my meetup. So I'm curious, and I just wanting to be a part of it all wherever I can be, just to experience it and find where I fit the best. And that's been my journey. So anybody out there, or especially a woman or a man who is new and doesn't know where they fit, just keep doing those sorts of things that you're drawn to, and eventually you will. So really, that's following your passions, like what you love, and keep doing it. And so now, with Ben, I've been brought into this team with the Wild West, with Drew and Brent and Ben and Patrick and a couple others down in Texas with the Blockchain Media Group. And we're working on that. We'll see how that goes. And that's in development. That's a very interesting project that they want to lead in the media world. And I have a few other offers. I help bring people together in investment relations. So there's been those opportunities, just with all the connections I've made, and traveling, going to a lot of the Ben meetups on his World Adoption Tour, and which he did his first one here in Ottawa with me. So that's how I first got to know Ben. And yeah, so doing those meetups, doing my meetup, these partnerships that are coming about. I was just offered another one the other day. I was offered my own radio show on Blockchain Radio here in Canada. So it's something I'm really seriously thinking about doing. And again, I do it all. And just like Twitter, I bounce around everywhere on Twitter and support people. It's just to support, it's just to educate, spread the word, do good, just to do good. And the radio show is not something at all that I even thought about wanting or doing. But when it was offered to me, I thinking like, this is a great opportunity to have other people on and just to have that platform. So yeah, that's
Well,
what
yeah,
I'm doing.
I think you would be great at radio. Yeah, I had never considered doing a TV show really, and then I met, Fly, and he offered me this, and I thought like, oh yeah, that's probably easier to just let people's own words speak for themselves instead of me trying to talk to people, think about it, edit their words, and then write my own piece around it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Makes
Keep
sense.
it authentic. Exactly.
And reach,
Yeah,
reach a new audience.
exactly. And this is what it is. It's reaching a new audience, reaching, the people in a truer, with facts, with actual facts that we can best bring to them, instead of the mass media that downplays certain things or gives misinformation for whatever agenda is going on. So sometimes, not always, but definitely sometimes.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you work in media, I work in media, and we're both telling you can't trust the media.
right, right.
Mhm.
but we're building a new world for this. So that's the idea, right? Creating new. We create. This is what we do. This is what human beings do. We create, and we're good at creating. So let's create.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think even better at some point, let's create without having to worry about the money.
Yeah, I mean, there are times there now having seen that there is money involved, and you do have to have money for certain things, and
Right.
and this is where you have investors, and you have people who do have money, who do have a cause or an interest, or want to see good or change this world as well. There are people like that and can do that, and you do need that. You need those. We're all here, we all have a part, and when you start putting it together, and I was talking to Nick, the CIO from the Divi project, yesterday, the day before, we were talking about that. We're here to co-create, we're here to create together, and we all have a part in it. We're all coming together, and that's what this is about. I think there's a bigger picture, and when you're creating something so new, if we're going to start out, I don't know if it's reinventing the wheel, but it kind of almost is, because this is very different.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but in
yeah,
this case, the wheel needs to be reinvented.
it truly does. It really does.
Really, I
With
mean,
good intentions and thoughts, and it's to define what good intentions are. So,
yeah, when you start investigating and looking into cryptocurrency, looking into blockchain, and then you start thinking, okay, well, why did they think this? Okay, they thought this because this is how the system, or this solves this problem in the system. But then you look further and you realize just how like incredibly flawed, everything about the,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah,
everything is, and it really it's heavy, really heavy,
it
and
can be. Yeah.
again, this is taking a long time, because we get to one problem and then realize that there are 10 problems underneath that problem that need to be solved first.
That's right. And for any people watching this that don't even know what we're saying, it's just always good to do your research, and to know that there are many perspectives, and to keep thinking, to learn how to think for yourself. So ask questions, keep asking a lot of questions. And I think that's really important in a time that we're in our world, with so many different perspectives being thrown at us. You just don't know which way to turn or to understand. I mean, I have a pretty better idea than I did a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. But there are people just coming in who have no idea, or don't know what to believe. So it's really important to ask questions and keep thinking. I just want to say that. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and then because of decentralization and blockchain, there are people who will try to tell you, yes, I absolutely know, no, you don't need to look into this anymore because I'm telling you. But the real truth of it is that, like, nobody absolutely knows. They have their perspectives based on the research that they did,
Yep,
but just you shouldn't take
exactly.
anybody's word for gospel without at least investigating it, at least questioning yourself. Why do I think that this person is right? Why do I think that I can trust what he or she says?
Yeah, and it's really important. It's really important to learn who we are, to who you are as a person on this planet. Why were you born? Why are you here? Where are you going? And I say that because I do think it's really important. And for me, it's going within yourself. Go in yourself more and more. If you don't know what that means, or if you don't understand what that means to go within, then maybe that's your journey to go figure out, because that's where you need to go. And it's vitally important. It, I cannot say that enough, how important that is, because that is where you will find many answers. It's not going to be outside of you, it's going to be in you. So
So
it's a
go
journey.
within. Yep.
Go
All right.
within.
Amina, where can they find you on social media? What's your Twitter handle?
So Twitter, it's at crowdfluent1, Amina Motala. YouTube is Amina M, and Instagram, it's Amina Motala _. And that's about it. It's always Amina Motala, so you can't go wrong. You'll find me somewhere if you Google that. And
Okay.
yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
anything else that you want to share with the audience before I quit recording?
Thank you very much. I love what you're doing. I am so happy to have met you in this space, and I look forward to getting to know you more.
Okay, thank you, Amina. Thank you so much for being here. And I always enjoy talking with you. And for everyone else, thanks for watching Web3. I'm Nicole, and we'll be back after this.